All right, finally was able to watch Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, which is in theaters now. It's the sequel to Beetlejuice 1. It's been about 36 years since the original came out in 1988, which is pretty crazy. It's exciting to see a lot of returning cast members from the original film. I was a fan of the original. I did rewatch it this year, though, just in anticipation of the sequel coming out. And it was kind of funny that I remembered it as like a kids' family movie. And rewatching it in 2024 was kind of like, oof. Yeah, Beetlejuice is not a good guy. He does some really not okay stuff in that movie to Gina Davis, and just the fact that he's trying to marry like a minor is kind of terrifying. It's just weird that my memory more kind of remembered him as like the good guy or like the character that everyone wanted to be, and kind of seeing people come into my work at the theater to come watch the movie, and all the kids are dressed up as Beetlejuice, and it's like, dude, he's a bad guy. Like, do you really want to? I get he's an iconic character, but as much as I love the movie, you can't go forward without at least talking about the mistakes it made too. And the things that are not okay in that movie are just as important to talk about as the good parts about that movie. But going into this film, I was pretty positive because I was like, hey, it is 2024. I think they're not going to do a lot of the things that they did in the original, and I ended up really liking the movie. Now, I'm gonna try to keep this a spoiler-free review. We'll keep it light. If I do talk about any spoilers, I'll give fair warning and keep it at the end. I'll try to keep the spoilers at the end if I do. But I think just from the trailer, we know there are some returning cast members that we can talk about, like Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, I think is her name, and obviously Michael Keaton. But I love all those people, and super fun to see them come back. There were some characters I was like, they're still alive. I'm kind of wondering, are they gonna show up, and stuff. And it was kind of interesting to me who did show up and who did not show up. And again, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I don't think it was necessary that anyone needed to that wasn't there. But I still couldn't help but wonder why not not every single person could come back, other than the ones who have passed away, of course. Um, but I like the new additions a lot as well. Is her name Monica Bellucci and Jenna Ortega, of course, who I'm a fan of from her work in Wednesday and Scream and other things, of course. But I I was really pleased with the effects. I was pleased with all the performances. I love I love all the things about the movie, even if Beetlejuice wasn't in it. And I can certainly say he's not my favorite part of the movie. He was definitely toned down a bit than he was in the first film, which I could appreciate. He was still kind of a pervert, but he wasn't nearly as bad as how he was in the first film. And it was a lot more kind of enjoyable. There were a few scenes that I did feel were kind of weird, and I'll try to save that for the end. Um, I will say it does relate to the ending of the film as well. Was a little bit weird. Curious to hear what you guys think. Um, but anyways, I thought Winona Ryder was still one of my favorite parts of the Beetlejuice franchise. It's so great to see her. It was very interesting seeing where she was in her, her characters, where her character was, all these years later. And seeing that she has a kid now is really cool. Who's Jenna Ortega? It's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. and kind of seeing it is a nice new generational sequel. I think it was a good sequel. You know, it wasn't what I expected, but it surprised me in some ways that I really enjoyed. Justin Theroux was hilarious in this. He was one new addition that I thought did really well, and Catherine O'Hara was just mind blowing. She just continues to be just as good as she used to be, and of course Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton. He does do a good job. Like he is really good at that character. I just wish, in terms of some writing decisions, I'm not really blaming Michael Keaton. Just like maybe not make Beetlejuice do some of those things. Um, but other than that, I really really enjoyed the movie. I don't think Beetlejuice is been. I don't think it's one of my favorite franchises or films, but I still really enjoyed both of them, and I do recommend it. I do think it is very fun. It's a fun movie to go watch at the theater, and especially I think if you're a fan of the original, it'll be just as enjoyable. And yeah, I I don't think it's one of my favorites of the year, but I did enjoy it more than I thought I would. Um, Let me know what you guys thought down below of the film. I would love to hear what you guys think. I do want to start talking about some of the spoilers, so if anyone is avoiding spoilers, let's stop watching. Thank you guys, appreciate it. But let's dive right into it. Um, yeah, I more specifically want to talk about some of the characters that did not return. Now, I know that Alec Baldwin is going through some controversial stuff right now, and I I think it I don't think it would have changed it too much if he had a cameo in Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Like I think he I don't think it would have changed anything. I think it just would have satisfied Beetlejuice fans, if anything. And Gina Davis, I was kind of hoping would show up as well, but she did not. I know she was in that Blink Twice movie recently, so maybe it's because of how her character was treated in the original, and maybe just inherently the character of Beetlejuice she did not approve of. And I don't know. She's one of my favorite human beings, is Gina Davis, and what she's doing with the Gina Davis Institute is incredible, and that's what I hope to aspire to be like someday. She's doing amazing things for representation for women and people of color, but more specifically women of color. And I love what she's doing. So I don't blame her for not doing this movie. And I think the reason why she did Blink Twice was because it was directed by a woman and written by a woman. I'm forgetting her name. Let's see. What's her name? Zoe Kravitz. I don't know why that name is slipping my memory, but that was probably the reason. The other character I was wondering that didn't show up was Catherine O'Hara's husband from the original film, Winona Ryder's dad, who was very funny. I don't know if he's in some sort of controversy, but I did see that he was alive, but maybe he's not in a healthy condition to do anything. But I think he could have had a funny part. I do think what they did end up doing for his character was very funny, and I loved the funeral remix of the song that they all danced to in the original. That was one of my favorite parts. Um, the ending I want to talk about, and the other scene that connects to the ending that was weird, was Beetlejuice's way of instantly impregnating a woman. I thought was extremely creepy and just kind of seemed like rape to me. And there was no consent at all. Like, it was kind of terrifying. Um, I think my girlfriend compared it to uh, the Alien movie, but I was like, that's an alien, and like, it's just like Beetlejuice is it's kind of a human, and he's very much a pervert. Like, it's It's way creepier seeing him do this because he's doing it knowingly and like it's not in his nature like it is for the alien xenomorph thing. Sorry, I don't want to bring up Alien too much into this conversation, but just keep it on Beetlejuice. But yeah, the instant impregnating was turned me off a little bit from the movie, and I kind of wish it didn't end on that note with Jenna Ortega, who's very young, and like that was terrifying and creepy and messed up to me. But other than that, I very much enjoyed the movie. Don't think I'm gonna put it up in my favorites this year, but again, I liked it more than I thought I would. Let me know what you guys thought down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.